Navigating the complexities of global trade, environmental sustainability, and technological innovation, it is clear that collaborative efforts are essential in achieving shared goals and driving progress. I'm super excited that you could join us on another interesting episode of Nimasa this week. I remain your anchor, Moyioluwa Olutayo. Welcome on board.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, recently received the South Korean Consul General, Mr. Lee Sang-oh, at the agency's headquarters in Lagos. During their discussions, the Nimasa DG reiterated Nigeria's request for South Korea's support in its bid for election into Category C of the International Maritime Oeganizational Council. He also proposed collaboration in the area of capacity building for Nigerian seafarers.
We are counting on you to give us your support and most importantly your vote. Like we said the last time, we are looking forward to capacity building. The key, that is whatever you can assist us in capacity building, especially for the seafarers. That would be much appreciated. And beyond that, we would want it as soon as possible, as quickly as we can do it, so that because we have loads of youths who want to have been trained to be cadets, but they are lacking sea time. So meaning that they have to be trained for 12 months, 14 months on board vessels. The sea time. So we really appeal to you and seeking your assistance in this area.
We will make effort to ensure that the new government also interested in this in Nigeria as well. Actually, the former our president promised to support the African continent through the African.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I must also have many concern about this in Nigeria because you have a lot of potential, right? So we have already coexistence, the good relationship. We want to continue.
The visit aligns with Nimasa's management's ongoing efforts to establish strategic partnerships for the growth and development of the maritime sector.
The commitment towards gender inclusion and equal participation of women in the maritime industry is evident in the growing leadership role women are taking across maritime, especially in decision-making, policy development, and sustainable shipping practices. Stay with us as we bring you reports from the 4th Women in Maritime and Shipping Conference, which took place in Lagos recently. I'll be right back.
The role of women in Nigeria's maritime sector took center stage at the 4th Women in Maritime and Shipping Conference, organized by the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. The event held on the 30th of May 2025 at the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos, brought together industry leaders under the theme, Charting New Waters, Women Steering Progress in Maritime and Shipping. Key industry figures in attendance included Alhaji Aminu Umar, President of the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, Mr. Kingsley Igwe, Registrar of the Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria, and Ms. Dede Yebovi, who represented the President of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, Mrs. Tolu Longe. The Nimasa Director General, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, represented by Mr. Tuti Easton, Deputy Director of Deep Blue Project Unit, delivered the keynote address. He commended the Chamber for its leadership and emphasized the increasing visibility of women in policy development, decision-making, and sustainable maritime practices.
I am proud to acknowledge the significant contribution of women in shaping maritime. Your individual dedication and passion significantly impacted in the industry. Kudos to you all as we prepare the maritime industry ahead. The goal of the conference is to celebrate the progress made by women in Nigeria today. Let me acknowledge that challenges lies ahead, and your leadership is very essential to drive progress in the industry.
Speakers at the event echoed a unified message. Greater inclusion, training, and leadership opportunities are essential for women in maritime.
As we gather in this distinguished space, let us celebrate the women who are steering progress, not only on ships or in ports, but in policy rooms, in boardrooms, and classrooms. The tides are shifting, and it is time we all rise with them. Our technical session today reflects a critical intersection of our time.
I would also use this opportunity to say that our wage should not be measured only in the number of seafarers that are on board the vessels. Because when you come in maritime trade, there are so many activities that involve. So let's also look at even ordinary, those who participate in dock activities at the seaports and the rest of them.
In the face of ever-evolving challenges and interruptions, we must continue to harness our unique insights, encouraging collaboration and leveraging our shared strengths to drive lasting change. Let this conference be more than an event. It should be a call to action. To every young woman aspiring to enter this field, know that your potential is limitless.
The conference ended with a strong call for collaboration across the industry to support and empower women in the sector.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
At the recently concluded two-day sensitization workshop for the staff of Nimasa on the imperative of organizational reform, the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, in his welcome address said, and I quote, "Reforms is the solution to innovation. If we remain static, we will be left behind. Change is reform." Stay tuned for the full report.
The Reforms Coordination and Strategic Management Unit of Nimasa held a two-day sensitization workshop for staff of the agency on the imperative of organizational reforms with the theme Public Sector Reforms and Strategic Innovation. Delivering the welcome address at the workshop, the agency's Director General, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, expressed his conviction about the important role that adopting innovative practices can play in advancing effective public sector reforms.
Reform is the solution to innovation. Reform is the solution to advancement. Reform is what changes the world and make it better. And if we decide not to participate in reform, especially in the dynamic industry that we are in the maritime sector, which is internationally related to businesses, to economic development, to economic diversification. If we stay static, we'll be left behind. And I'm sure you all know, and you all agree with me, that Nimasa is the leading maritime agency in Nigeria, in Africa, and we are moving to be at par with the world. So therefore, it is important that we learn and we participate in reform.
In her opening remarks, the head of the Reforms Coordination and Strategic Management Unit, Mrs. Nonyelum Okeke-Egbuna, spoke on the key role the unit plays in the agency, adding that the sensitization workshop would educate staff across all levels, strengthen collaboration, and help build a stronger Nimasa.
I want to emphasize that reforms are not a standalone event or the responsibility of one unit. True reform is collective. It requires mindset shift, open dialogue, and the willingness to let go of outdated ways of doing things. It means every staff from every level to executive leadership sees themselves as an agent for change and innovation.
Dr. D.I. Arabi, the Director General of the Bureau of Public Sector Reforms, delivered a paper presentation on the overview of the National Strategy for Public Sector Reforms, during which he stated that the aim of the BPSR is to achieve a world-class public service.
Because the only thing permanent in life is change, and reform is change. So we have to be ready for change. And just as I told you, anywhere the president speaks today, he's talking about reforms. Anywhere the vice president represents him, they're talking about reforms. That means we cannot be tired of reforms. And these reforms are just necessary. It is before that we say, no, we don't want to do this, we want to, now you must do it.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
Welcome back on the program. Is still Nimasa this week. We shall be rounding up on the UN SDG segment today. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are a set of 17 goals aimed at promoting economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. These goals are all interconnected, meaning progress in one often depends on progress in others. On the segment today, we shall take a look at the list to refresh our minds and understanding of the 17 goals. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Sustainability remains very crucial to the existence of humankind. And of course, it's not just only the present generation, but from one generation to another generation. And this is why the United Nations came up with 17 sets of SDGs to guide us, or to guide the global community, on the minimum standard of living for humans.
The Sustainable Development Goals was initiated in 2015 when global leaders came together at one of the United Nations meetings and decided that they need to do something about prosperity of the nations globally, not some countries thriving and others are at the back burner. So they come up with these 17 laudable Sustainable Development Goals, which they aim to achieve to ensure prosperity and peace for all that lives on the earth, both human beings and even the planet Earth itself. And the maritime sector is very, very integral to the establishment of the Sustainable Development Goals because, as we know, for sustainable development, trade is very, very important. And the maritime industry is the backbone of international trade. Aside that, the maritime industry also fosters economic growth. It helps in capacity building. It helps, in ensuring employment opportunities. And it's such an industry that has diverse streams of ensuring that people have a livelihood and that people can live and earn and have a life that is worth living with.
Nigeria, through Nimasa, have been able to key into the Sustainable Development Goals properly. Because, the goals is beyond a specific goal that we have been talking about today, but encompasses talking about inequalities, poverty, how they can combat those things, climate change, then peace and justice and all of that. So if you look at from that perspective, you see that Nimasa, through Maritime Labour Service Department, have been able to key into the agenda.
Now, as you may know, cleaner and safer environment is very pertinent to the actualization of the UN SDGs, right? Can you tell us what Nimasa is doing to ensure that this is achieved in Nigeria, particularly in the maritime sector?
So the environment plays such a crucial role in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals by several ways as follows. Number one, it supports human well-being. This is achieved by SDG 1, 2, and 3. It also promotes ecosystem services. This is achieved by SDG 6, 7, and 9. It also supports climate action. This is achieved by SDG 13, 14, and 15. And then it promotes sustainable development. This is achieved by SDG 8, 12, and 17. And Nimasa does its best to ensure that it fulfills its set targets by achieving these set goals by the UN.
SDG 13 is one of 17 United Nations goals. That is Sustainable Development Goals. And Goal 13 talks about urgent action on climate change. And the key objective of this goal is to reduce emission reduction. Secondly, to promote sustainable development and improve adaptive capacity. Coming to Nimasa, Nimasa as one member of United Nations and IMO has aligned itself to these goals. One of the actions Nimasa have taken to ensure that this emission is being reduced, especially in the maritime sector, is the collaboration with NPA, Nigerian Port Authority, to designate slow steaming area. Slow steaming area simply means ships, when they approach the port, they reduce their speeds. This will help in emission reduction. Nimasa is also collaborating with NPA in area of establishing oil bunker hub in Lagos that will serve West Africa and Central Africa. This is, a hub that will make available IMO compliance fuel oil to vessels coming into Nigeria.
You know, most of the challenges, the success of the SDG goals is some are not well enlightened, and that's why I think Nimasa has done a lot in creating awareness, especially on the Marine Action Plan. So you need to reevaluate, then set more targets, and from there you pick it up.
Interesting. So finally, just a final question for you. What's your message to the layman out there concerning life on land and how they should protect their environment? What's your message to them?
The earth is for everyone. It's for us to live. But whatever action you take today will surely impact on the generation coming in the future.
For our viewers or our listeners out there, it's still very important for us to understand this concept of sustainability. You know, in Nimasa, part of our mission is to achieve cleaner oceans. And to achieve cleaner oceans, you and I have a role to play, you know, within our communities to make it clean, you know, and eco-friendly. It's a wrap on this segment. I remain your host. My name is Femi Kumwe. Thank you and see you again.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
It's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Nimasa this week. We appreciate all our esteemed viewers. If you have any feedback or suggestion, kindly reach us via our website www.nimasa.gov.ng or via our social media platforms. We would love to hear from you. Until we come your way again next week, this is wishing all our Muslim brothers and sisters Barka the Salah. Have a wonderful celebration because I am starting mine right away.